Welcome to Studio Chatter. Can you believe it? It's October.
I love October.
I do too.
Love October.
I love the fall, and October is truly fall, right? And look at our set.
I love the studio right now. So walking into this,
Isn't it, darling?
yes. So
it's so fun.
kudos to Curated by Home Design. I'm loving all of the details, the crows, the bats. These ghosts, are they not the cutest ever?
And it's kind of like this fun, like neutrally palette. I really love it.
Well, and even just adding the ribbon to the wreaths. Like you may just have a wreath at home.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you mentioned that because the ribbon is actually available at Stone Drug.
Oh, okay.
So so you can get the ribbon there, and then if you would like everything put together, I'm sure that she's happy to do that for you.
That's really
awesome.
Yeah,
Little
so many
side note
cute
there.
details.
Yes, love that.
Letting us feel the fall. So I've been really busy with wedding, okay?
Yes.
Which was a great fall. I don't know, it just goes all year, right? A prep for a wedding goes all year long. But
Ooh.
Congrats on the wedding.
Oh my gosh.
we're cutting the cake.
Ooh, what do we have
thank you,
here? I mean,
Pete.
this is the best part of fall, right?
Oh
because
my
we're
gosh,
either
Kate, Natasha, you gotta cut.
This is probably my fault. I walked in here and said that I was just craving something.
She needed a
fallish. I
treat.
just needed a
Something
treat.
good.
Yes. So we have.
Is this like
that
cinnamon butter?
Or apple butter? Let me
Yes.
Apple butter? Does it have a little
Sweet
From
pumpkin
the
spice.
barn.
Yes, sourdough bread. Okay.
Honey butter.
honey butter? Honey
Even
butter.
better. Even
Oh my
better.
gosh. Yes, I am not shy to.
To cut in. You
Yes,
do
break
it.
this open.
Well, okay, so I did a wedding. My youngest got married. It was absolutely amazing and just a beautiful day. It's like all the prep, all the stress, and then that day of, just, it goes so fast,
Yes.
but it just was perfect. But anyway, congrats, Sab and Bo. But I was like done. I'm like, I am not going to decorate for Christmas. I'm not going to decorate for
You're burned
Halloween.
out.
Like I am
Right.
done decorating. And then I drive past the barn and I see the pumpkins.
And you're like, maybe
I went to Wiggy Wash and then I was like, nope.
pumpkin.
And I did. I caved.
You
I
have
bought some
to.
pumpkins and it made me feel good.
Well, you don't have to feel guilty because it's like you're covering Halloween, you're covering fall.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
covering-
2 months, right?
Put it on your porch and then you look festive and nobody knows what the inside looks like.
And I don't have to decorate the inside. And I think I'm not going to. I think I'm going to let it
Sure
go.
you're not.
Sure I'm not.
You have
Or I could.
Yes, you have grandkids. I'm sure it will be darling.
Oh, yeah,
I'm going to try and
obsessive.
simplify, really, though. I was just like, why?
Oh, I'm cutting
being
these
red?
pretty thick, ladies.
What have you been up to,
I'm gonna
Angela?
cut my fingers.
Well, yesterday I just sent off my missionary to the
Are you
MTC.
okay?
Just dropped him off. And I did fine yesterday. I was like, this just, it doesn't even feel real because he's so busy. He's always in and out, in and
Yeah.
out. And today my husband's like, I just about asked you, where is Dylan today?
Aww.
And your heart kind of stops.
And I went down to his room this morning, which was a bad choice. I knew it was going to be empty, and that wouldn't have triggered me. But he had made his bed and he has a wrestling blanket that has him on it as a wrestler, and he spread that on the bed, and then he put his little pillow that says "Gone Fishing," and I was like, I just lost it and was like, that is the meanest thing to do to a mom.
Meanest, sweetest, right? You're like,
Meanest,
we are not
sweetest.
touching
Right,
this. This is a
yes.
shrine for 2 years.
Yes.
Oh,
No
that's
guest
so
can sleep
sweet.
there. It's sacred, but
So sweet.
it's good. It's so good.
It's so good, but it's tricky. I remember when Bo was going to Texas to sell for the first time, and I'd just get so anxious. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, but these are the things that make them like adulting and just good things, grown up.
Yep.
But that is hard.
It is so hard. What's funny is that a few days before he went in, you could tell he was panicking. Like, now, Mom, how do you cook this and how do you cook that? And I'm like, I have tried to teach you how to cook for the last 2 years, and you didn't.
And you didn't listen.
You
right?
did not want to learn.
No, they do not. And
So I'm
hopefully
like,
they have a
"You'll
McDonald's
figure it out."
or something.
Yeah, he'll do
this
great.
This is nice and chilled.
He knows how to eat cereal and make top ramen.
Yep. Maybe
He'll be
some
fine.
members will feed him a meal once in a while, and he's
Yeah.
going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll be
Or
good.
maybe his companion will teach him well, along the way. Are we all going to sample together?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
And I did
Wait,
have a
is
little
this
camp out, you guys,
pumpkin
too.
bread?
It's
This
pumpkin
is pumpkin
sourdough bread.
sourdough.
Pumpkin sour. I've never had pumpkin
Isn't it
sourdough.
from the Abigail's? Oh no, this is cast iron. Mm-hmm. He sells down there too. That's awesome.
Wow.
Excuse us while we eat for just a moment. This is perfect.
Thank you.
This is
Yes, thank
it's
you.
not- but you know how if you don't want something overly sweet,
Yes, this is, I was just
you just
going to
want
say that.
something
Yep.
savory.
Because that sourdough undertone
Yes.
kind of takes that sweet out.
Perfect.
What a
Thank you, Petey Petey. I did do a grandpa and grandma, a Gigi and Papa camp out with the kids.
Oh, okay.
Knox has been wanting it all summer long, so I just said, we'll simplify it. We popped up the tent, no one slept in it. But they wanted to do a nature hike and take the Power Wheels down there, because we never have. And we just sat and did like kid stuff. Like we did crafts with glue guns and stuff for hours.
oh my
And
god.
just slept over and did s'mores, and it just finally made me feel like, okay, fall's coming. Like, I don't know. It just felt really good and homey. I needed it.
Before we started airing tonight, or filming tonight rather, we were talking about our trips to St. George. So I was at Utah Tech University helping them be a panelist or judge for homecoming week. But we had kind of that cold spell, and I'll call it up here, up north.
Yes.
And so I was ready to pull out sweaters and jeans and all of the transition items. So I took some of those sweater outfits to St. George thinking it might get chilly in the evenings. Oh my goodness, it was still like 95 to 100. It was so hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was nice for a hot minute. But
Did you have a good time down there, though? Was it so
fantastic.
amazing?
They were amazing hosts, had an amazing welcome reception. The girls were amazing. So yes, everything turned out really, really well. So it was really fun.
That's really fun.
But it was kind of nice to come back to the cooler weather.
Oh yeah.
It's like I'm not quite ready for like cold, right?
But
like,
just cool it off a
cool
little
it
bit.
off.
Just
Like when it bumps up to that 90 or 100 again, I'm like, no, it feels like twice as hot now.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
we feel the cool.
We'll be talking about all those fun activities with the transition weather. It's time to meet our first guest. Let's get the chatter started. It wouldn't be fall and Halloween without a visit from our friends from Gordo's Fun Farm. Say hello to Madeline and Brady Gordon. Hey
guys.
And my favorite, we can't leave him out.
Little Keith.
Yes.
Baby Keith, who's coloring for us today?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, your ears? Yes. Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming back. We
Thanks
love
for
you.
having
And
us.
you're doing so many neat things every year. Take us back memory lane. Tell us how you started. Kind of give us your history all over again.
Okay, so
He loves that.
funny,
Good
isn't
idea,
it?
Mom and Dad.
maybe we'll start right there. He's part of our history because this little boy is named Keith because of my great-grandpa who brought the Gordon family to Lakeshore. I couldn't tell you what year, to be honest, but it was early 1900s. And they started out on a dairy farm out in Lakeshore. It's transitioned to my grandpa Randy, who's the son of Keith now. And he took over a different farm nearby the dairy there, and now it's turned into a produce farm. And just as farming is today, we're trying to stay alive. Making produce makes a little bit of money, but not enough to keep the family farm going. So we've transitioned into doing produce and Gordo's now. So.
So this was kind of your baby, right? Like you
This
kind of
was, these two.
initiated the fun part, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Some innovative change to the farm.
so we talked about doing a pumpkin patch for a while, but my grandpa was like, I don't want to do that. So me and my cousin Madeline was on a mission.
That's right. Okay.
We started it the first year, and then when she came home, we got married. That's when it got cute. And
A woman's touch, right? You guys can grow the pumpkins. We know how to sell them.
that's exactly.
So if people come down to visit, I mean, produce is still available, right? So everybody can go pick their pumpkins if they want to. So this really intrigued us when you came into the studio today. Tell us about, what are we calling it? Engraving or etching a pumpkin or?
Pre-cut pumpkins.
Okay.
I don't know, we don't have a set name on it, but we have this friend that has a laser machine.
Oh, there we go.
And so
Okay.
you can do any kind of custom cut that you want.
Okay.
And it like takes him 10 seconds for like
Are
the
you
laser
kidding?
to
So
do
this
the
is
whole
on
What?
site.
Not on site,
Okay.
but you can like write it on a paper what you want, and then he takes it home to where his machine is at.
Okay, so we pick our pumpkin there, and then we say, "Hey, we'd love to do this. Like, welcome to the porch." I don't know. I just totally made that up.
Yes.
Or the lawn cars.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
there we go.
Welcome to the porch.
There-
It's pumpkin
yes.
time.
So, okay, I love that so
And the
much.
nice thing about it is that it doesn't like go bad really quickly. Like if you had a carved pumpkin,
Okay.
these last like
Yeah,
so
it
long.
looks like it would.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like etched off the top.
Right.
Okay, that's fun. And next to it is also some merch. You guys have some hats and stuff. Tell us
Yeah.
what you've got this year.
These are from local business as well, Zapped Headwear.
Oh, okay. Yep, we're familiar.
They're a family friend, and we've got some Gordo's ones and Gordon Family Farm as well that are specific to the business, but we've also got the new Utah flag ones. There's a bunch of other ones, hunting, American
that.
flags, and they're all
So cool.
high quality hats, and we love Zapped.
And we love treats.
Okay. Yes, Natasha
yes.
does love
Yes.
treats.
Lots of
We like to
treats.
talk about the food. So let's talk about the food again this year.
Yes. So I think there has been drinks before, right?
Yes. So we do fizz drinks.
Okay.
We have all the different fun kinds that they have.
Tell me.
We have kettle corn, fresh kettle corn that we get every week. We have these carameled apples that
Okay.
are amazing. And then we have just some like other random snacks like buttered popcorn and granola bars, Otter Pops, cream pops, like a bunch of fun little
Just
snacks.
kid-friendly stuff that they can grab.
Okay,
I
so
like that.
I love that. I love the kid-friendly.
I do
So
too.
I'm thinking about bringing our little soccer team maybe down to. So there's. Remind me the like kind of the petting zoo area.
Yes, so the petting zoo has everything from a Highland cow to puppies and tortoises and all the farm animals in
Highland
between.
cows.
But then we have 3 or 4 playgrounds that are built on tractors and old farm trucks.
Okay.
The mini parent-powered coaster, which is really quickly, it's a mini coaster powered by parents on a bike. It's a mini roller coaster. Corn maze, corn pit, all those other
Corn
fun
pit,
things.
still my
So-
favorite from our
Yes,
first time
the corn
visiting you
pit.
guys. Oh my goodness, I had too
It's
much
always
fun
a
in
hit.
that.
Yeah, and so
As
and
an
then,
adult.
and then over the little bridge at the ride, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Train riding corn maze over the bridge there. So.
Yeah.
Okay. You also, I'm trying to recall all of the fun things. So you have maybe a talented cousin that does the balloon.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a face painter there now too,
Okay.
and a couple other booths like that, where you can. That's mainly on the weekends. You can get face paintings and the balloons,
charm
the
bracelets.
charm bracelets we've
Yeah.
had as well. So lots of fun things.
I think I get just as excited as the kids do, maybe even a little bit more because I want to dress up and come.
It makes you feel like a kid a little bit. It's just
Yeah.
like feels good.
Put on the overall.
So what are some of the special events that you guys have down there?
We had the fall event is our main event, and then this last year we've started Red Nose Ranch, which is a Christmas event, and this last March it started in July, but we started Daisy Days is what it's called, and it's called Daisy Days because of our little girl that was born and we lost in March, and just put simply,
sorry.
it's not for us to make money or anything. It's just a little event that's a remembrance for her, and it's also a special thing for other families that have lost babies themselves.
So you want to invite those people to come out and be part of that special event?
Yep, and
Bring
it's
your
no charge to
community.
them, and there's a special remembrance tractor.
The Remembrance Tractor is this white tractor. It's a tractor that we painted all white, and it has a bucket on it. And from the bucket, there's a porch swing that the whole family can sit on. And the families that are coming to remember their angel baby, they get to write their baby's name on the tractor. So it's just covered in all of these names, and so that we can, see their names and we can remember them all together.
Oh my gosh,
I really love
that's
that. I
very
think
special.
during those times you kind of feel alone, like no one else has ever experienced something like this. And I think it's so good to talk about it, and then you bring others together that can kind of like soothe your soul and have all those memories. So
Yeah.
It's been so special to meet so many amazing families with similar experiences, and that's what that event's for. And it's
and make some connections there and just be
Yeah.
So we know the farm is open through the end of the month, so it runs through Halloween for Daisy Days. Is that posted somewhere, a special invitation, or is there a specific day?
This year we started mid-July and went through August, but next year it will probably be just slightly different.
Okay.
So you can just check our website
Okay.
for dates and times.
Dates, they're all
Perfect.
on there for
Yeah.
the different events.
And that's
so.
just a certain kind of month.
Yeah.
It'll probably be
span.
August.
Okay.
Summer.
Yeah.
Tell me more about you're saying reindeer,
Red Nose Ranch.
Red
Yes.
Nose Ranch.
Yeah.
That's going to be here
What?
before we know it.
I know, I'm just curious. I know that's a little bit down the road, but tell me about that.
So Red Nose Ranch is a Christmas event, and it's everything that we do at fall and more, but put a Christmas spin on it. And what's added to the event is a trolley ride. We have deer in the petting zoo, and then
my
the
heck,
fun.
how cool.
Another fun thing is we fill it with Christmas trees for sale, and it feels like a winter forest. And families that are buying a Christmas tree actually get free admission to all the fun activities while you're there. So
Really quickly then, admission.
Yes.
Let's talk about
and
prices.
dates and times, kind of.
yes.
For both?
For both. Yeah, for right now.
Okay,
When
for
are we
right
open
now-
and what days?
For right now, it's $8.50 per person. 2 years and younger are free, and that includes all of the activities that we have at Gordo's.
And that's
Wow.
Monday through Saturday. We open at noon till 9
Oh,
p.m.
perfect. Okay.
And then same for the winter event, same price, 2 and under free, and the hours are a little bit different. It'll be 4 to 8 p.m.
Awesome.
And Saturday's a little bit earlier.
So you transition, like you'll end and like the 31st-ish
Yep.
for fall, and then will you begin immediately after for the Red Ranch?
We'll have a little transition time to take down fall, set up Christmas, you know.
But
and
within a
we'll-
few weeks?
Yes, we'll open the week of Thanksgiving. Yeah.
We'll get that all posted. We're all out of time. Thank you so much. We'll see you
Yeah.
soon.
Love you guys.
Guys.
Thanks.
3, 2.
Our next guest is someone that you've probably seen bringing us treats, but today he's with us to talk about writing a book. Let's welcome Christopher Graham to the table. Hello.
Hello, Christopher.
Thank you for having me. It's unusual being on this side of the camera.
It's kind of fun, isn't it?
It is.
Maybe. We'll ask you
Probably
after.
nice to sit down on a cushy seat and
Yeah, oh yeah.
feel like you're someone very important.
like all the lights glaring
You're
in
a
my face.
VIP.
Well, we've
Yeah.
called you Chris for so long, but today we're going to call you Christopher.
That sounds
okay.
fine with me. I give brownie points to anyone who uses all of the syllables.
Okay, perfect. We're going
Christopher
to.
is the
Well,
preferred.
I thought that you were always the very strong, silent type, but you have all of these hidden talents that we
Yes.
really didn't know about. So, okay.
Yeah.
First things first. So, you started in media production, or what's your story? How did you get to where you are?
Well, it really started as a volunteer camera operator
Okay.
back in, I think it was 2017 at a mega church. And so I was just a volunteer camera operator. I remember my phone call with the production guy, and he was like, there's a camera job and it's like a video game. And I'm like, sign me up. I will do that. And
Sounds great.
yeah, and from there on, I was just like, I want to do more camera work. I want to be in production. So I went to UVU for film and theater.
Okay.
And from there, I got into working like video editing and film, and now I'm here. And so it's been a lot of fun. This is the best job ever.
I'm so
very happy.
glad that you love it, because I think there's a lot of people that wouldn't love that. I mean, it
No.
sounds like a lot
And
of
having to deal with
editing
us,
and
right?
splicing, and yes, having to deal with us. That's probably no fun at all.
I love you guys. It's so much fun being
Thank
here.
you. You're great behind the scenes, but now you're in front of the scenes, and
Yes.
you've brought to us a special gift. So
Yes.
tell us about
So
writing.
I have been a writer for a little over 11 years.
Wow.
And
Wow.
recently I've finished a fantasy novel. And so this is it right here. It is-
Oh my goodness.
The voice of a mute.
yes, the
Okay.
voice of a mute. And so
fantasy.
I have a copy
Thank
for
you.
each of you.
Is it
Oh
like
my goodness.
We'll
So-
make you sign this
Because
before
I
you
look at
leave.
this and I think it's like a mystery, but fantasy
Yes, so
with some mystery.
it-
Okay, so give us a little
yes,
preface
I'll
of
give you a
it.
bit of a rundown.
Okay.
So it is a fantasy novel, and it is it's kind of young adult. I didn't really write it to be young adult. I wrote this book to be something that I wanted to read.
Okay.
And so the age range is probably 16 and up is what I would say. I had my grandfather read it, and he loved it. And
okay, good.
My younger brother loved it, and by the end of it, he was messaging me. He's like, "Where's book 2? Give it to me right now." And so
That's exactly what you want to hear.
yeah, and so it's a kind of a war story about these two boys who get caught up in a war, and both of them have kind of magic powers, although the magic system is based on emotion, and that was kind of what spurred the story on, was what would a world look like if the magic was based on emotion? And so we have the main character whose main emotion is boredom. He just became so bored he gained magic powers one day.
Okay.
And they sent him off to the academy to get trained to use his abilities. And he meets another boy whose emotion is peace. And those two end up getting whisked away into a war with this one girl and her uncle, who is a captain of this army company. And they're off to go save the world, essentially.
With their magic. So does their magic have to do like with boredom?
So it's kind of a, I'm not sure how I would exactly explain it. It's kind of a hard magic system, and it's not so much that they have to be feeling the emotion to be using the magic.
Okay.
They can spontaneously, just whenever they need to, can use it, but there are limitations to it. They can't just keep doing it forever.
Okay.
So
I feel like my kids would be they would have the magic power of being bored.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'd be like, I relate to that. How could I get that magic?
yeah, and the fun thing is, like, it's being set in kind of medieval times, but there's still some more modern technologies, like there's plumbing.
I like it.
And
That's my kind of medieval.
Well, you can do that.
Do
with
that in
fantasy.
fantasy. You can, all over the place.
That's what I like
exactly
writing.
how you like it.
That's why I love writing fantasy, because you can kind of make all the rules, and it makes it a lot easier. You don't have to adhere to real life so much.
Totally.
Although I try to be as realistic as I can, and and one of the other, I would say, the primary goal that I had in writing this book, like, what is the story? Like, if someone asked me, what is the story about? I would say, it's about an atheist who becomes a believer and a believer who becomes an atheist. That was the goal that I had set up when I began writing it. That was the story that I wanted to tell. And I don't know how good of a job I did. I enjoy it. I think I nailed it, but I can't speak for anybody.
So you seem very young to us. So you're
Right.
already very accomplished. I mean, you've been going to all of these writing workshops for a number of years. I'm sure that you are a fantastic student. You're already published. So, I mean, you kind of skipped the steps.
Well, so I'm not fully published yet. So these are
Okay.
essentially test prints.
Okay.
Right now, people can actually go and start reading the story on my website, which is just cjauthorgraham.com.
Okay.
And I'm releasing the chapters for free serially on my website. So every Sunday, one chapter comes out, and I'm doing both the written chapter, and I'm also doing an audiobook for it. So people can either listen or they can read it, or both at the same time if they want
Are you
to.
narrating yourself?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I love that.
I love, like, doing random voice acting stuff, and so I've got a
You have
voice for every
theater,
character.
right?
Yeah.
You've done theater, so
Yeah. So
that's right down your alley.
So maybe that could take off too. Like that
would be
part
nice.
of it, right?
Yeah, that would be good.
So how long did it take you to like come up with a foundation and then write this?
So one interesting thing about writers is there's kind of two types of writers. There's plotters who plan everything out and then they write the story, and then there's pantsters or discovery writers. That's more of what I am. And so I just kind of had a foundational idea of, let's have a believer become an atheist and an atheist become a believer, and a story in a world where emotion's the magic. Those were like the two foundational ideas, and then I just began writing. I did not plan like anything out. And what I really love about that is I'm discovering this story as I'm writing it. And so there are things that end up happening in it that surprise me, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is such a shock, and it's so good, and I hope that as a result my readers get the same feeling that I get as I'm writing it. And So that's really it. It's like I just
That
started
seems like
writing.
a more fun way to write a book.
Absolutely.
Though,
totally.
I think so.
The other way seems like
I
work.
write papers all the time, but they're like based on research and stuff, and you have to plan it out. You need to have like an outline and stuff, and you need to hit these points, and it's not as exciting. So I would
Yes.
love to surprise myself in the middle of my writing. I love that.
So when do you write? I mean, you're a busy guy.
Yeah, I've broken down my writing goals to pretty small chunks. So this book really took me 7 years to write, but the vast majority of it got done in about 1 year when I finally decided my goal is 100 words a day. And that's like nothing. I can write 100 words in 10, 15 minutes. But having a goal that small, I was motivated enough to actually open up my document, do my little bit of work, usually ended up doing 200, maybe 300 anyway, and just doing that every single day, little bit by little bit. That's how this ended up getting accomplished.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great goal
Yeah.
to get there to the end.
Yeah, if you can't get something big done, break it up into smaller goals. That's a great psychological tip for anything.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel overwhelming.
Oh yeah.
Christopher, you've inspired me. You've been the quiet guy, okay? I don't want to say mute, but our quiet guy behind the scenes. And to see this like really neat talent that you have, kudos.
Oh,
Like that's really neat
thank you,
to
thank
take
you.
a goal and to just go for it. And I cannot wait to read it. And I'm sure Stacy,
too, yes.
Stacy's gonna die. She's gonna need a copy too.
We did all of her favorites
Yeah,
today.
all of her
so-
favorites without her.
Yep. I mean,
Congratulations.
I'm the quiet guy, but I do have a lot to say.
Yes.
So,
With the big voice, huh? Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
well,
for joining
thank you
us.
for having me. Thank you. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.
Our next guest specializes in permanent jewelry, and if you don't know what that is, keep watching. Welcome Sarah McConkey from Adorned by Sarah to the table. Welcome.
Thanks for having me here.
Okay, so permanent jewelry. Tell us a little bit about tell us about yourself and how you got into this
Okay,
journey.
yeah. So my husband and I lived in Texas last year, and well, we've been there for 3 years, and I had met somebody that owned their own permanent jewelry business, and she was a silversmith. She'd been doing jewelry for 20 plus years, got really good at her metals and her trade, and she needed some help, and I was like, I want to help. Like, I want to help out with your business, and she brought me along and trained me and just showed me, just kind of opened my eyes to the world of jewelry, and I just fell in love with it. And then we moved to Utah, and I had to leave that and say goodbye. And I was like, wait, why do I have to leave it and say goodbye? Like, I just learned this amazing skill, how to use this welding machine, and I want to show my friends and my family, and I want to keep doing this because it was really fun just to meet
bet.
all the women and the men, the boyfriends, anyone, just to come and get jewelry. And
So how long have you
Yeah.
been up here?
so we've been here for 2 months, actually. This is me kind of starting over.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I had a great community in Texas and knew a lot of people, and so this is me just starting fresh, new clients, new everything,
it.
and making my way. So
We're missing our token blonde tonight. So you met Stacy
yes.
Yes.
at the Harvest Moon Hurrah, yes? And so you had a conversation, and obviously you're here now. Okay, well that's great. I love that you're...
That's so brave. I love people that take an idea and a passion and a love and then just like, okay, I'm going to do it.
thanks.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So how are you doing it? Are you doing it party-wise or at boutiques or?
Yeah, so boutiques, I mean, I love going to parties are like my number one, so much fun because I get to go into your home, meet your friends, we get a party and there's food and there, just
Right.
That's like the highlight. So I do parties, I do pop-ups at stores. I did one at Called to Surf a couple weeks ago.
Awesome.
I've done a couple at Avita Institute, Hair Institute, with some of the girls there, and just
So fun.
just for their events and their.
We should have a studio chatter pop-up party.
Well, we are having a birthday party.
Yes, so maybe this is our theme.
Yeah.
So what happens at the
Yes.
party? So you bring your collection.
Yeah, so I bring my stuff, and so you guys come in. I'm like, sit down in my beautiful chair, and I have some nice chairs.
Okay.
And then I'm like, what jewelry? Like,
So you
what
get to
catches
pick.
your eye? You
You
get to pick one.
the chain.
Yeah.
What do you tell people when they're like, well, I wear gold and silver? Have you ever done
I
gold?
usually when they walk in, they're wearing gold or silver. I'm like, are you a gold girl? Are you a silver girl? And usually right away, it's like, yeah, I'm a silver girl. Like they know most of the time. I haven't run into and if they don't know, we're like, okay, let's sit down. Let's try some on.
Totally.
Let's try it on and see what looks great with your skin tone and your hair, and just makes you happy. And I wait for your face to light up.
You do.
And
That's the fun
I do.
part, right?
That's
Like,
the
okay,
fun part of
that's
jewelry
the
is
one.
that it makes you happy.
It does. And do
feel
people,
beautiful.
I imagine like going to one, I'd be like, oh, I like them all. Just choose one for me. Yeah. Do people ever do that to you?
I mean, and I'll refer to the top sellers,
You're like,
this
these
one's really
three are
popular.
So tell us about these.
So those are bangles. They're sterling silver. I only do sterling silver and gold filled products.
Yes.
They're like the highest tier of permanent jewelry. You could do solid and stuff, but that's getting really expensive for some.
Okay.
I don't want you to pay $200 for this tiny little chain.
Tarnish.
Yeah, but it's not going to tarnish. It's not going to turn your skin green. It's got a 30-year lifespan. It's going to take a lot of wear
take a
and tear.
while.
Yeah, and it's fine jewelry.
So how do you
really.
connect these ones? When you
So yeah, these ones, you put them on your wrist, and we can stretch them out a little bit to fit you. And then you get to pick the chain
To
that
hook
you
on the
want to
bottom?
connect on the bottom. And
my gosh.
even these little charms and stuff too, you could pick a charm
There's like feathers.
to connect them.
Oh, you have one.
Yeah, I have
see
one
this.
here. And I put the little.
Oh, okay.
Oh my, I didn't even
little-
know that. I just thought it was like a cuff.
Yeah.
But it's
Stars.
Yep, it's permanent. And
So what's the
my
advantage
heavens.
of permanent jewelry?
Yes.
yeah, so clasps. Like that's one thing is just it's annoying to take off your jewelry every night. And these are so lightweight and like effortless to wear. You just wake up and you've got them on. But also like the memories and the connections that you can make with bringing someone. I get a lot of moms and daughters coming in. My daughter's going off to college, and we want to get a matching bracelet together to represent her leaving. And then
So
I
rather
can
than
look
a
at it.
permanent tattoo together,
Yes,
we can get some
exactly.
permanent jewelry.
Yes.
Right?
Maybe
Yeah, it's a little like less commitment than the tattoo, but just the same
Feel of
you were
that.
telling me about your bracelet
Yeah,
actually
like
before.
this is my mother-in-law's, and she is early stage Alzheimer, and so they kind of divvied out a little bit of her jewelry. And so when she sees this, her husband kind of said, "We want you to have this." And then every time she sees it, she's like, "I love your bracelet." And so it just reminds me of her.
Yeah,
So,
and
and I love to put on the same things every day and just go for it.
That's what I love about jewelry is the stories behind it. You get sitting down with somebody and I get someone saying, "Can you put this charm on that my grandma loved dearly on a permanent bracelet?" And I can do
you
that.
could do that.
Yeah, I can do a
You
lot
can
of
weld
things.
it. Okay, so
let's
show
see
us.
it. Yeah.
Let's jump right into the
so
process.
We've got this
Angie's saying, "I
bracelet.
want to be permanent. I want this on me every day."
Yes.
Okay.
So we've got this sized out for you, and it's custom fit for however, if you want it a little looser, a little tighter.
So we've pre-measured my wrist, kind of like how I want it, and then
I
you
put
just
this
cut
little
it.
jump ring on it. Yep. And this is the connector. This is the little gold piece that will keep it on you.
Jump ring.
Yep.
Oh, I thought we were done. No, now we
now
weld
we're-
it.
she
Okay.
Now we're gonna
Yes,
weld,
where's
and let me
the
grab my
process?
little leather piece here.
Oh
safety.
my goodness.
Safety
Okay.
first.
Okay. Just in case we get crazy.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, here we go.
And then hopefully we see some sparks with this one.
Okay.
That's.
little-
I'm sure Pete will want to see that too.
Gotta get some sparks flying here.
This is so interesting.
Yeah,
I
this-
didn't know that
this-
it was like a welder.
Yeah, this
I just thought that they clamped it off.
micro welding tool is is new to the market. I mean, it's only like 5 years old, and
So the reason you weld it is to make it stronger so it doesn't break off?
yeah, so I'm using electricity and heat to melt the jump ring, to melt the metal so that it stays
Because
shut,
that's how
welded
that
shut.
chain was made.
Yep.
So
And now
it was
you-
a mentorship that you learned with, right?
Oh, here we go.
Ooh,
Got the
saw the spark.
Yep.
Pete, I hope you got that.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it?
That was
Wow.
one and done. Like
What?
sometimes I have to do 2 hits, but that was one that was
Oh my
really great.
gosh.
And then I clean it up a little bit. Sometimes you get a little ash, a little fire soot from the sparks there, but then
Okay.
it's good as new.
Oh my gosh.
Permanent.
Yeah.
Now I'm forever
Yay.
connected to Studio Chatter and my
There you
bracelet.
go.
Yeah, now you always
gonna
remember.
take it
Like,
off.
coming
Never get away
But I'm gonna get you guys both fun at the end here. So.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, well, if anybody else wants to schedule a party or if they want to have their own jewelry, the best way to contact you.
Yes.
Yeah, so Instagram is kind of my main. I'm trying to keep everything kind of on there. So yeah, message me on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know when your party is and I'll get it in my schedule.
And what's kind of the pricing? Just a little bit
Oh
of
yeah,
price
pricing.
point.
So sterling silver starts at 50, gold fill starts at 60, and then it kind of goes up from there depending on like how chunky we're talking. Like if you want one of those thick chunky chains versus those dainty.
And is that generally a bracelet?
Yeah, that's
an
for
anklet,
bracelets, anklets. You could do anklets.
necklace?
So anklets are $5 more, and then necklaces are $20 more, and then we can get fancy with hand chains and
Yeah, a lot of the girls at my work have the little like
with the
connector.
rings,
Yes.
Yep, charms are all individually priced. I have them labeled on the bottom here. You can really be creative and just put your story on your jewelry.
Okay.
I love that kind of that idea for like a Christmas gift for like my girls or something. Like come and do something together. That's a memory.
Well, even my teen, I know sometimes it's hard to come up with like ideas to do.
It is.
And she actually does a Friendsgiving every year, so I was kind of thinking maybe that direction. But I mean, it really is like it's a gift that will last forever.
And I too, I get the class thing because I have a hard time with class. That's usually why I just pick my things
Well,
and
and
keep it
sometimes
on.
they keep coming back down here.
Yeah, the
And
glass
you're
will
like
just turn
Yeah.
around.
rotating it back.
Yep.
So do you design these?
Well, I mean, the chains I buy from wholesalers, but I design them how you want them.
Yes.
I mean,
You are an artist.
Yeah, I play around with it, and I'll make my own jewelry, like my rings, and pick the chains that I want, and whatever you
that would
want
be
with
such a
whatever
fun,
whatever I
creative
have.
outlet.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I love it.
We love that you made the move.
Yep.
Thank
Thank you.
you so
Thanks
much
for coming to
sharing.
Utah.
thanks.
Thanks, Sarah.
When trouble happens, there is almost always a victim. And if that happens to be you, would you know where to go to get the help that you need? We've got a solution. Meet Lexi Jackson, the victim's advocate with the Spanish Fork Police Department.
Hi, thank you for
Hello.
having
That's
me.
kind of a mouthful.
Yes. Thank you for having me here.
So, go ahead.
Well, tell us about just a little bit about what you do and like the program that you're involved with.
Yeah, absolutely. So about 8 years ago, Spanish Fork, our chief, approved for a victim services program here at our police department. And so I replaced our previous advocate who did an amazing job, left some very big shoes for me to fill. But we serve any victims of crime, so really any type of crime, but mostly we focus on domestic violence and sexual assault, and we work with survivors who have gone through that and help them navigate where to go and how to begin their healing journey.
So do you help them find services? So if there's a woman that comes to you or is being abused, she needs to get away, how do you help her? Like, what do you say to her, I guess, for an example?
Absolutely. So what I do is I work closely with our detectives and our officers, and so that's how I get the original calls. So if someone calls to report a crime, I will respond either in person to the scene or make contact with the survivor afterwards, and we do a needs assessment. We figure out what their needs are, what their safety concerns are, and it's very survivor-led. So they get to tell me what they need and how I can support them, and then I connect them based on on their answers. And so sometimes that's housing, sometimes that's mental health support, sometimes it's just addressing the barriers that they need to get out of an abusive relationship. And so I work really closely with them, and then if it gets to the point to where it does go to court, I work with them to help navigate the court process as well.
Wow, what sort of a degree or schooling or education did you go through?
Yeah.
It just seems like you're so knowledgeable and it encompasses so much.
Yeah. There is quite a bit of training that goes into it. Currently in Utah, there are some debates on what schooling is required, but I chose to get a bachelor's degree in psychology, and then I will probably go in a few years to get a master's degree in social work. But that's kind of my background, and I've worked a little bit in the field with Wasatch Behavioral Health prior to this, but I knew that victim services is the field that I wanted to go into, and so with my education, I also completed different trainings required by the state of Utah to help serve survivors of domestic violence, and then another training for serving survivors of sexual assault as well.
How long have you been helping then in Spanish Fork?
I got hired at the end of January of this year, so not too long, but I'm happy to be here.
But you got your feet wet and now you're going. So I know that I visited one of the women's shelters a few months ago, and one of the ladies there told me that they have to turn away a lot of women who are abused. So how do you help them if there's not room in some shelters? I know sometimes that can be a challenge. I don't know if you've seen that at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of barriers to accessing services. There's some therapy organizations that are really great, but they only take certain insurances. Or if a survivor is leaving an abusive situation, oftentimes financial control is one of their barriers. They don't have access to money, they don't have access to transportation, they don't have access to their insurance cards or necessary documents to receive help. And so when we do the needs assessment, we figure out how can we get those documents back for them? How can we enroll them in some type of insurance to help them get care? And so where our shelters are an amazing resource and they do a great job of trying to get people in when needed, it's good to always have a backup plan. And so we coordinate to make sure that we have a few different options in case one falls through. That way that they're not just on their own.
Perfect, that's awesome.
I imagine it seems like such a hard thing to see someone going through that and you just want to help them. Is there a lot of people that maybe don't want the help or are scared to take that step?
Definitely, yeah. I think it goes back to some of those barriers to leaving. It's scary to talk to law enforcement. I won't sugarcoat that. It's scary to talk to an officer and tell them the things that you've been through, and oftentimes survivors will carry a lot of shame with that, or they don't want to rehash these traumatic things that they've experienced. And so those are definitely some of the barriers that people face when they are trying to seek help and decide how they want to go about doing that. And then sometimes they are in that domestic violence cycle where they're not ready to leave, or it may not be safe for them to leave yet. And so the main thing that I just want people to know is that I'm here for them regardless. If they choose to stay in the relationship, I want them to know that they're not alone, and that I will help safety plan with them so that way they can have a support system and have resources to keep themselves safe even if they are staying in the relationship.
And sometimes just knowing that, having them knowing that they have a support, and building that, that trust with you, sort of
feel like, a foundation to maybe build up to it.
Yeah, then maybe those are part of like steps so that they can one day leave like, okay, I can rely on her, she's gonna help me. So how many cases do you have? Like what does the workload look like for you?
Yeah, so from the beginning of the year till now, I have about 110 cases. Not all of them are active right now. Some of them, their court cases have been closed. But I would say I work on about 50 active cases at a time.
Wow.
Goodness.
How do you juggle that?
I have a lot of great support at our police department. We've got great community advocates that help. I work closely with our prosecutor, our detectives, our officers, and even our front staff ladies are so helpful to help figure out, what appointments need to be made and helping me contact people. So it's been really great.
Do you have to have an officer with you when you go into a situation, or how does that look like?
We typically safety plan with our officers, and so if it's a situation where I know that the offender isn't in the home and it's just going to be me and the survivor, I'll usually just tell someone my location and then they're on standby if I need them. But if it is a situation where I'm a little more nervous, I may have officers respond with me. So it's usually a case-by-case situation.
Such a good teamwork situation.
Dare I ask, how often do those cases involve children?
Often. Unfortunately, specifically with domestic violence, the children are often present, they're often involved in one way or another. And so we do see that a lot, where we have to not only think of the survivor as the adult, but also their children as well, and factor them in and make sure that they are safe and taken care of, and also have the mental health resources, because it does take a toll on them as well.
Yeah, I imagine. Well, what can we do as a community? Is there action items that we can do or help in any way?
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for asking. So what I always recommend is start by believing. So if someone comes up to you, if it's a family, a friend, the odds are someone you know has gone through this. And so if someone does come up to you and shares their story with you, just acknowledge that, one, it takes a lot of courage to come forward with that, and two, the amount of false reports are very low. And so it's more likely that they're telling the truth and that they are trusting you with a really difficult part of their story. And so just believing them and helping them connect to these resources is a great idea. And then also donating to local organizations. We have the Refuge in Orem. They are a great option to donate and to contribute to as well. They do a lot of great work, and they go above and beyond for our survivors.
Is it mainly just women, or are there men that you're working with too? I think a lot of times we feel domestic violence is against women, which may be a high percentage, but does it go both ways?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, statistically, I work mainly with women, but I work with people of all kinds, any gender, any race, anything like that, because unfortunately abuse doesn't target just one population. It goes, and anyone can be a victim and anyone can survive this. So I'm happy to work with anyone who needs my services.
What about a success story that you can share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had a few where we've had protective orders granted. I think of one in mind where we had it granted so that way this survivor was pregnant at the time, and the offender unfortunately was the father of the child, and the abuse happened while she was pregnant, and so we needed a protective order, and we needed to get her out of the home and be able to safely deliver her baby with the peace of her family and people that she could trust. And so with the help of our department, we were able to quickly put a protective order together and safety plan with her, so that way she could go to the hospital and be safe and be able to deliver her baby. And then thanks to donations from our community, actually, we were able to put together a little care package for her, so that way she could feel the support from our department and have, a soft blanket and a stuffed animal to provide a little bit of comfort as she was going through this.
How long does it take to get a protective order? Like what's timeline look like if somebody was thinking or hoping that to happen that?
It kind of depends case by case. Typically, if someone's arrested, they'll see a judge pretty quickly, so within a couple days. And in that case, we can try to get a protective order pretty quickly. The main thing is just to get them to safety as quickly as possible. And so sometimes there are certain protective orders that take longer to get, but I can usually work with the individual to figure out what safety measures we need to put in place to keep them the safest at that time. And sometimes that's not even a protective order. Sometimes it's safety planning and finding a new location to stay or transportation.
Maybe the perpetrator or whatever, whoever you call them, that they wouldn't know about.
Right.
Like maybe it's a coworker or something where he wouldn't know where they are.
Absolutely. And so typically we're able to get them to safety pretty quickly.
So beyond outreach to the police department, is there an app or something else that we can refer them to?
I would refer them to the Refuge's hotline. So you can find that online or at their website. They're just called The Refuge. They're located in Orem. They have a main line, they have a domestic violence hotline, and a sexual assault hotline. Both of those are available for English and Spanish speakers, and they are open 24/7, no cost. So it's a great resource for anyone who is looking to seek help.
Wow. Thank you so much. It sounds like you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Beautiful work. Thank you.
We really packed a lot of topics in today's program. What did we learn? So many things, right?
We had such a variety, guys.
The fun of Gordo's, all the fun stuff with
Yes.
a little bit of the tender with the daisy, what do they call it again?
Daisy Days.
Daisy Days.
And we had just seen them last year, and they had gone through such a hardship. But what a darling couple! And fulfilling
I
life.
love them. I love Baby Keith. I love
Right?
the Fun Farm. I love
And I love how they
everything
keep
about it.
reinventing what it is. It's like, hey, we're doing this, now we're going to add this. Like, I feel like they're
Just
going to
young
be
and
around
fresh
for
and vibrant and lovely.
Totally.
They're
Love
doing
them.
what they love, which
Yes.
is what
Yep.
Sarah
You can feel that, right?
is
Yep.
doing.
Yep.
You can tell she loves that. But even Lexi doing Victims Advocate, you can tell that's what
we
she
were
loves.
just engaged.
There's a lot of passion here today. So
And
passion for the arts.
Christopher loves to
yes.
write.
And now we know Christopher, yes, loves to write.
So everyone's doing what they love, and I think that's what makes you.
Wait, I'm not done
Oh, yum!
We truly have been spoiled today. We have been gifted with
Yes.
so
Guys,
many
it's-
wonderful things.
It's fall time. It's time
It
to
is.
get the
Beautiful.
pumpkin,
You guys need
a little-
pumpkin, cinnamon,
Of
apple.
course, I might take that
Goodness.
for breakfast. But, Oh my
Okay.
gosh, always good things from the barn. Yes, I mean,
Sure,
just
I'll have a
really,
little
really
piece.
great things and transitioning into.
Fall. And guys, why does it do this? It goes so fast. It's like we talk about summer and then summer's over. Talk about fall. Let's go to
Yeah.
pumpkin patches. Let's do all the things. I'm
Well-
going to try and be really present.
I mean, I even remember kind of at the beginning of the summer, and you were talking about, you know, you were going to do all these things in the summer before you sent off your missionary, and now he's like,
He's gone.
Gone.
It's gone.
You were planning a wedding. It's over.
It's over.
Yes, just all these things, and the
Natasha went to New York, did a whole
did,
bunch of
yes,
fun things.
yes,
and
and
now we're doing schoolwork.
schoolwork. Yes, another vacation though for Mama. So we're
That'll
going
be
to
fun.
a little more extension, I guess. So our fall break is Hawaii. So we're super excited for that.
You're taking the kiddos.
Yeah, yes.
Is mom and dad coming? Or
Nope, just the four of us.
That'll be fun.
Oh, that's
That'll be
so
a great
great.
getaway.
Yeah, fall break is
Without
always
the
fun.
friends, without the stuff, I loved when I could do that.
Yes,
Just
yeah.
pull away.
Fun. But,
Well,
yeah.
I'm going to go duck hunting. My husband's going to
fun.
have a little surgery. He went scouting and bent down to look through a spotting scope with our little grandson. Went to stand up and he couldn't stand up and he tore his meniscus. Oh, it was crazy. So we're doing surgery next week. And maybe carving pumpkins while
So
we're
wait, who
there.
are you going to go duck hunting with?
Us, just our family. We just go every year
And you're
down
a
to
good,
Bicknell.
You're a good shot because we've shot with you.
I'm
before.
decent. I can shoot
You
a
are.
duck.
Well, everybody show off your beautiful jewelry.
Okay.
So we all ended up.
Of course, I had to do
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, so
Mine's
We're all
gold one,
connected now.
And yours, your
And then,
beautiful.
yep, my necklace. Yeah.
So
And
this
I-
is our connection for life. How many years? Let's see how many years these will stay, guys.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep, and then we'll have to make Stacy go get hers, and she should
Yeah.
be back here next time as well.
Yep, totally.
All right.